Hey guys, let's recap the rules of variance that we've been talking about over the last couple of days. Now go ahead and write these down, pause, and then we're going to start doing some of the word problems. And let's see if we even need these formulas. Okay, so let's go to your notes, page 11, problem number 36. Go ahead and read that to yourself. Okay, now, here it's asking us to basically convert from inches, from feet, I should say, because that's what we're given, to inches. Well, yeah, there's an equation for that, but do I really need it? Because the reality is, all I'm going to do is sit here and just multiply it times 12. And here are my answers. Now here's the notation, but remember, don't worry about the notation, just worry about the process. Okay, now let's go ahead and read problem number 38. Now the first thing they ask us to do is to describe the shape, which means that I have to do the histogram. Now here's the histogram that represents this skee ball distribution and the tickets. Okay, so here they're asking us for the mean. Exploded. Okay, and then they're asking us for the standard deviation. So here the mean is exactly what you see, the 23.8. And it's just saying, on average, the number of tickets sold is going to be 23.8. But then we have to divide that by 10 because it's saying for every 10 scored. So that means it is going to be 2.38. Standard deviation is the exact same thing. Here, as we're looking at the standard deviation of the number of tickets, it is going to be the 12.63. But again, since we're talking about every 10, we're going to divide that to get 1.263. Okay, the interpretation of the standard deviation is saying that on average, that the number of tickets sold is going to be approximately 1.263 away from the average, which is the 2.38. And that is, of course, of the amount that are collected. Okay, so I had to pause. Students came in and took tests. So let me reinterpret the mean and the standard deviation. We're saying that Anna received about 2.3 tickets per roll on average. And then the standard deviation is saying the number of tickets that Anna wins typically or on average will be about 1.263 away from the mean, which is 2.38. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the next question. Go ahead and look at number 42. Now 42 first here is giving us this probability distribution and is trying to ask us to confirm that the mean and the standard deviation are 0.5 and 15.8 respectively. So let's do that work to show that confirmation. And there is our mean. And now remember the standard deviation. Okay, so first we have to find our variance, which is 249.75, and of course our standard deviation is not going to be anything but the square root of that, which is the 15.8. Now the next question here, it says, okay, if we pick 3 tickets, if we buy a pick 3 ticket, you're going to be winning, and here's the formula that explains it, because the cost is $1. One thing we've got to do is learn how to make these formulas when they are not given for us. So what does that mean? That means I'm going to do the following. That mu sub winning is going to equal mu sub x minus 1, in which this is the same as mu of x minus 1, which is your 0.5 minus 1, which is going to give me a negative 0.5. Remember how we've talked about all that minus 1 does is it's going to take my averages, my means, and shift them all, in this case, shift them down 1. Now when we're talking about the standard deviation, it is going to be the following. It is just simply going to be the value of x right here. Because remember that standard deviation sub x minus 1, here this is your multiplier, and in essence it just equals this. And we didn't have to find the variance if you didn't want to, but it's there if you chose to. Now, I want to start problem number 50 because 50 refers back to problem 42. Okay, so we want to know the mean. Now the mean of winning was a negative 0.5. And we're talking about 2 consecutive days. So we're talking about the mean of winning plus the mean of winning. So the mean of winning then plus the mean of winning. Well, that's just going to be a negative 0.5 plus a negative 0.5. So the mean of winning on 2 consecutive days, basically you're losing money both days. And that's going to be the loss of $1. Standard deviation, remember, is not that simple. So the standard deviation is going to be, remember we have to go through the variance. So the variance of 1 plus the day 1, here's your variance day 2, which is what, 15.8 squared plus 15.8 squared. Remember, you cannot do this. So this is I'll put a big fat no across this before I even do it. No. You cannot go 15.8 plus 15.8 to equal the standard deviation. What you have to do is take the square root of these two. Of course, when added together. Okay, I sat there and whited it all out because I thought I made a mistake. So I'm going to have to pause to rewrite what I just erased, which was correct in the first place. Okay, so here is your 499.28 for your variance. 499.28, I need that for the square root of that variance, which is going to be 22.34. And yes, money. And remember how I said this was a big, fat, juicy no. Okay, so hope this helps those of you who needed it. Have fun with the rest of your homework.